This image is from Eddie, and the caption with it is a studio shot of an apple and some Photoshop magic.
Yeah, Eddie, we've seen your work before. I really like it, and it's very interesting. You know, you've got this apple, you've got the grain, the texture of the wood contrasting, and then you've got the reflection in the background of the window. Works really well. You might just do a little work on that hot spot on the apple. I'd probably just pull that down a little bit, yeah, and just do a local adjustment. I mean, that would be my preference. Just pull that hot spot so it isn't quite as demanding of my eye, because it just makes my eye just sort of have to go. Whereas you've got a lot of texture and other stuff that's, you know, the tonality of it is very interesting. So that'd be my only suggestion. Otherwise, bingo, you're right on there.
All right. Our next one is from Ralph. And this is once again a location that's one of his
Yosemite.
favorites. Yep.
I
So
know that
Yosemite Valley
chapel.
Chapel.
And we
And
can see Half Dome just peeking over there. There's Half Dome. I know this chapel. I've photographed it many times. I've never really come away with, this is good with the snow, helps a lot. But I've never really, personally, I remember walking around this chapel many times trying to get it just the way I want it. I've never quite gotten it yet. My only suggestion would be to make this into a black and white. I mean, you know, Yosemite to me lends itself to black and whites anyway, but I think it would be more interesting, and I try it out because the only real color is the brown, and I don't find that brown. It's just, to me, it doesn't really help the photograph, but I think if we saw it as a black and white, it could be very interesting. And that would be my suggestion on this one. Just give it a shot. See, you framed it, you know, well around the branches there. They're not bumping into the steeple. And is this year with the snow? Is the snow this early, or is this from a previous year? I'd just be curious.
That's a good question.
Yeah, I'd be surprised before Thanksgiving if there's that much snow. But I know this chapel really well. I've seen it since I was a little kid. Half Dome, of course, is amazing. Yosemite is amazing. So thank you for sharing this.
Yeah.
Let's see what it looks like as a black and white. If you can process it in Silver Effects Pro, because you're going to get some, I'd go for a really high dynamic range, you know, the Ansel Adams look, and you can do some cool things with Silver Effects Pro, you know, with the zone system that I've gone over before.
This one is from our friend Lucian. This is from the Isle of Arran, from the Skipless Seafood Cabin Skipness Seafood Cabin in Skipness, Scotland.
I have no idea what that means. The Seafood Cabin. Okay.
So might be some kind of resort or restaurant, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I get it. So that looks like a eucalyptus tree, which I have lots of around where we live here. That's very cool. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful portrait of a tree. And of course, going into the horizon with the ocean. Hey, listen, I have only the little tiniest notation on this one, which is I hate to see the branches just so squished in on the left side of the frame. I'd like to see a little more space, just like you have on the right. That's my only tiniest little comment about that. Just give it a little more breathing room. Sometimes you've got enough breathing room on the right and the top. Just don't crowd it quite so much. It's just my eye wants to go, okay, I want to see that whole branch. But it's a very beautiful, almost like a painting, you know, the very soft tones behind it and the shadows. You know, you've captured it really well. It's a beautiful portrait of a tree. And remember, you can take portraits of anything. Trees, boulders, buildings, dogs, cats. So you are taking a portrait there, and it's in portrait mode too. So that helps as well.
All right.
Okay.
We're getting some of those new submissions from new members. So very
Okay.
excited to have you guys in. So this one is from Anop. And this was taken with a Canon 770D with a 55 to 250 millimeter lens.
Very
And
interesting.
I'm gonna zoom in a bit more so that
Yeah.
it's so it's like this is about the frame. It's a little harder to
Yeah.
see the top of the frame because it's white, but so there.
Yeah. So I guess we're looking at a bird on a roof with cloud. There's clouds in the background. Um, yeah, it's interesting. It's really like a design. It's a pattern. So we see the pattern of the roof, and we see the bird, which is a punctuation point. I'm wondering if you could do anything with those clouds to kind of make them a little more prominent. A dehaze slider might help you with that. Maybe you've already done that. Dehaze does exactly what it says it's doing, which is it removes atmospheric haze. And so you got to be careful with it, because if you slide that too far in either direction, it's going to start to look weird. But that would be my only thing, is maybe we could punch up those clouds a little bit. Also, in Silver Effects Pro, which I love and I use all the time, it's got all these different presets, and some of them do amazing with clouds. You look at it and you go, wow, there's not a lot going on there. And you run it through one of those presets, and it just brings out the tonality and the structure of the clouds, which I think could help that photograph. Maybe just try that. You can get a free trial. You don't have to buy it. You can get the free trial version and run it through there. Try some of those other presets and see what happens. Because I think you can make that cloud structure pop out, and I think that would add some interest to it. And thank you for submitting, and good luck with that. Also, thank you guys for thanking or giving the thumbs up, because that always helps. All right, who else we got, Jared?
All right, we've got Ramtim, who is also a new member. Welcome to the AYP Club. The caption with this: they sold oranges by their car, and the boy was just very tired, so fell asleep there in the car. I just talked to him minutes later after I captured him, and he woke up.
Yeah, to me, this is part of a story. It's a scene and a story. And one of the things we're doing in our AYP Plus group is, for many months, we've been actually having our members put together their stories. So a single photograph can tell you only so much. And sometimes you need to see the rest. But to me, this is a scene out of a story. And if you're photographing these vendors, let's say you're photographing the environment where they are, and maybe he's with his dad or whatever's happening, there's a frame out of that story, and it works well in that regard. It's obviously he's probably been up since early morning. He's pooped out and taking a little breather. What makes it interesting too is the angle of his leg. Looks really uncomfortable to me, to try to rest like that. So he must be really tired. But you've got the angle of the leg going backwards, kind of there, and then his arm. That bit of geometry adds a lot of interest to it. So good job. And black and white definitely works for this. So I'd say you've done a really good job at capturing a part of your story. Keep going.
Yeah. All right. This one is from Antonio. This is a lake in Mexico that, with the rain, the level has covered some trees now. So
beautiful. It's beautiful. It's like a painting. And you've done a really good job. Your composition is very simple. It's the boat and the tree and the clouds, essentially, and then the lake. But it's got some simple elements. It's not cluttered. My eye can go from the boat to the tree and back again without feeling any conflict. I essentially go, one thing to do with you guys is look at your own eye trail. And for me, it enters from the bottom. I see the boat, then I go to the tree, then I look at the clouds. I kind of, make a little trip around there. But you've done a good job because these things are not conflicting with each other, and they work together. So that's a beautiful portrait, beautiful landscape portrait. Please subscribe and enable the bell so you don't miss any of our new shows. Like the video and please share it and leave your comments. I love hearing from you. And remember to get out and capture your own images of life.